This video is a story I want to tell you about what's happened on my property. It starts along my tree line here on the left. Notice the changes that have happened in just 3 months. I didn't do that. I didn't ask to have it done, and I didn't pay anyone to have it done. I just happen to have a neighbor who has the will and means to do things like this and does it. All because of this one bush that I hated. What my crazy neighbor's doing. He took that mini Flora rose, that thicket, and shoved it right down in the woods for me. Yeah, and that thicket I'm talking about, the multiflora rose, it grows in a way that sticks out over where I'm mowing, and it tried to rip me off the lawnmower. But along the edges of the wood line and all that, can't do much about it except just keep some snips with me, my gloves, trim it when I'm on my lawnmower. I thought he was done. He's got his crawler out there driving back and forth. His crawler happens to be an old S10 pickup truck that he modified into a rail. Alright, I'm gonna let him be. He's still out here having fun in my yard. Why do you have to do that? Oh. Well, here it is, next day raining, but I want to get a good summary of what he did yesterday. Now keep in mind, I did not ask him to do this. I just happened to have this multiflora rose bush, or thicket, there that was sticking out. Part right there is where I couldn't mow. He said, well, I can push that down my tractor. Well, next thing you know, he's pushing down everything. He knocked all that back. You can't tell it doesn't look like it, but about 20 feet. Well, I didn't know he had already laid seed. While I was gone, he came out here and laid seed in this. And then he went over to his daughter's, which is over there next to me, the closest house to mine, way over there, behind the trees. He walked over there and got these 3 blankets of netting with hay in it to help keep the dirt from eroding away because it was going to be raining. Well, obviously, he knocked down all he wanted to knock down. He said, did it all in fun. He said it wasn't work, it was just fun. Give him something to do, get his mind off of other stuff. Okay, thank you very much, buddy. You're one heck of a neighbor.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
And then he just kept going. And of course I had to go down there and check on him and talk to him. I had never asked him to do this. Just about every day he was waiting for me so he could give me a status update on his progress.
What about you, Earl?
Wow.
I got a little aggressive on that the other day. So as I get along there, I'm clearing that stuff on out. You know, like down there, what you're seeing now, I'll clear it all out so it looks like that.
A week later.
I want to take out some more trees there, okay? Whatever I want to do, okay?
I guess.
There's a couple of hackberries and little hackberries.
Well, it looks different from the other day.
Yeah, I worked on it some more. Just piddling.
That's
Just piddling. I don't mind it. I enjoy.
piddling?
Takes stress off.
Yeah.
And them old bushes that I took out, I dig around them and I get in there with the sawzall. And I saw all that shit out, so when I bring it out, I got the ball on the end of it too. Because you don't, you grow back.
With him doing all this work, I tried to do my part too. Hey! Get off my lawn! You'll notice some balloons floating around out there tied to some metal rails. He put those there to scare off the turkeys that were eating the grass seed that he had laid. And then on June 18th, had a nighttime storm that took down a hackberry that wasn't part of the plans. Gosh. What a mess. I had taken an extra day off from my weekend to be home and get to gnawing on that tree. Had my tools loaded in my trailer behind my lawnmower. Well, I found something already out there gnawing on it. Sorry about the noise. Let me turn that down for you. There, that's better. Well, it doesn't appear we're going to be working together. Getting a look at it, realized that my neighbor had already been out there working on it. You won't see any work being done by me in this video because I did work on it some, but my neighbor came over, got busy, working circles around me, and told me, "You don't need to be here." I told him, "I'm going to pay you." I went to the bank and I got him some money. Well, by the next day, he had hauled all the limbs to the curb for the city to pick up, and then cut up the big stuff for firewood and delivers it to family and friends, especially family down the road who lives in a trailer and relies on wood for heat. And as you can see here, that tree's gone. At this point, I thought he'd take a break, but nope. He's back out there working it. Unbelievable. I hope my truck's not in his way. He was at this each day, every day, all day on the weekends, and after he got off work in the evenings, through the hot, oppressive months of June and July, and going in August.
We are heading into one of the hottest weeks of the summer so far.
So the heat index today should still range between about 100 to 110.
TVA expecting power demand to reach high levels between today and Wednesday.
He made a huge pile of limbs and sticks on my property at my driveway turnout. The reason is because the harsh curves on my road required the city to put up road guards to pick up limbs near the road. So they asked for the limbs to be put beside my driveway on my property instead. I had to make a sign so they would know where the limb was going to be. That's clear enough. I also had to hack up those limbs in the trailer with the chainsaw to add to the pile. And as you'll see, I was wearing house shoes while I chainsawed. How many people do you know wear house shoes while using a chainsaw? I only know that this knucklehead did it. Just a little comparison here of how big that pile is that I've got to have the city come and pick up. All done by the courtesy of my 73-year-old neighbor. And now that day of reckoning has arrived. Much like washing a car or, say, pressure washing a sidewalk, if you've ever done that, there's something to be said about the witnessing of the before and after, and how it looks better when you're done. I'm going to admire the work these guys are doing here. hard out there. Whew! Watching them work wore me out. Well, you can watch them leave. I'm gonna go take a nap. Enjoy. That was all in jest. I didn't consume a single Bud Light during the 4 hours they took to do that. I think now is a good time to give recognition to my neighbor again. He's my elder at 73 years old, but has more energy and will to give of himself to help others than anyone I've ever known. Now, he employed an arsenal of stuff while he piddled at my tree line. So as those city workers leave, I'll try to describe a list of that stuff that I know of, but I'm sure there is much more. For the tools and equipment, he used an old chainsaw, a pole saw, and repairs that he did to both. A portable generator, a sawzall, ropes and chains, extension ladder, a tractor, his crawler, a pull-behind aerator he made from a log and rebar to make the holes in the dirt so that the seed would fall into them so the turkeys couldn't eat it. I asked him the technical name for it, and he said,
The hole poker.
okay. He used numerous blankets of erosion webbing, many bales of hay, bags and bags of Dollar General grass seed, quite a few blankets of sod he got for free, and balloons. Lots of water and hoses, or as Tennessean calls them, hose pipes. Lots of gasoline and diesel fuel. Plus, he relocated a large pile of dirt that I had near my driveway and spread it around on that cleared area he did. Okay, I think those city workers have left far enough. I can move on to something else. I'm going to give you some idea of how much work my neighbor did here. And of course, it's going to be time-lapsed, as you can see. I took a walk all the way down to the new tree line. Here's what's left of the sod he'd laid. The rest got washed downhill by a 2-inch-an-hour early morning August 13th rainstorm. Man, the mosquitoes. He had taken out all the old spindly trees, the ailanthus trees and such, which grow like weeds. Most of these big trees are tulip poppers, which can grow to the height of 160 feet. So you're wondering where the results of all that grass seed is? Well, what the birds didn't get did germinate for a minute, but didn't survive the prevailing drought-like weather conditions. Pretty steep. So the grass seed was about as successful as the mole trap he had deployed at various locations in this area. It never caught a single thing. I'm walking back up at what it used to be, the tree line. It's where that bush used to be. That's the old tree line. And that black walnut is where the tree line used to go. And over here, my power pole, which once again denotes where the tree line used to be. While doing all this work, he showed absolutely no concerns about the oppressively hot and humid weather, snakes, ticks, mosquitoes, and poison ivy. He showed more tenacity and true grit than anyone I've ever seen. And he never asked me a single thing for it in return. And here we are, weeks later, at the end of August, and he's still mulling it over. So of course, I'm obliged to do the neighborly thing and mow down whatever happens to grow here, in addition to the rest of my yard. Thanks, neighbor. And thanks to the city workers, too.
What is that? Oh,
Huh?
poke hole.
It's a what?
The hole poker.
Okay.